Happy Sunday, friends. Happy Sunday to you that are online with us as well. This morning, I want to share with you the story of a sage and a king. There was a sage who had an ashram, and he was well loved and thought to be enlightened. And so a number of monks came to stay at his ashram as they learned this path of peace, this way of being love in the world, this deep study of enlightenment. So well renowned was this sage that he attracted the attention of a king. And the king would come and study with the sage. And they would spend much time together in prayer. But some of the monks were disturbed by this, and they were like, hey, why does our guru spend so much time with this king? I mean, have you seen the way the king dresses, all the ornaments and all of this rich beauty? Is our guru corrupt? Is our guru not really the man of God that we have thought him to be? Now, of course, any good sage is aware of what the undercurrent is, right? They know what's feeding that grapevine. And so the sage is sitting in satsang one day with the king and with all of the monks. Satsang, a sacred service, a time when we come together to teach and to learn and to sit in the presence of the divine. And so they're sitting in satsang, and some of the king's soldiers come storming into the satsang, and they say, Your Highness, the palace is on fire. And the king breathes and says, Go and deal with the fire. Do not disturb the satsang. Do not disturb this holy time. Do not interrupt this sacred space. And so they go and they deal with the fire. And some weeks later, they are sitting in satsang again, and it is the king and the monks paying attention to the sage. And another monk comes running in and says, all of your clothes are hanging out to dry, and the monkeys have come and they are tearing up your clothes. And all of the monks jump up and they run out into the courtyard to save their belongings, meager though they may be. Today we're going to talk about release. We are going to affirm our release. And we'll get to the part where you understand what the moral maybe of that story is. But today we're going to move into another of our powers that Charles Fillmore talked about in the 12 Powers of Man. And today we are talking about release. And we will affirm our release. And so we're going to light this candle for release. And the color that is associated with release is called russet. And so I don't really know that this candle's quite right, but I think of a russet potato, right? Dirt, the color of dirt. That idea of release that allows us this opportunity to start a new life in a new place. Right? Release, a new life, both in consciousness, right? Or a new life here in our physical manifestation. Because we know here at Unity, right? We know that in order to experience here in this playground, right? First we have to know it in here. And in here, we have to know it in our consciousness for it to outpicture here. And so we experience it in consciousness in our thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs, right? Have you heard that before here? Thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, and how important they are. And so what I want you to know is that release is a gentle word. Right? Dedry just sang about, we let it go. There's a gentleness about letting it go. But Charles Fillmore did not refer to it as release or letting go. He called it renunciation, elimination. Those are harsher words because my belief is that when we actually practice the power of renunciation and elimination, we get good at it, and it means we get to release. We get to gently let things go. Because sometimes, right, there are some things in our lives that are hard to let go of. Does anybody have any thoughts, beliefs, or feelings that are hard to let go of? I have a couple. Right, so this faculty that Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, called renunciation, this is our ability to cleanse and to purify. To cleanse and to purify our being. Right, we get to cleanse and purify our being, our consciousness, to align it with the truth. The truth of who we are. Right? We have this physiological process of life here in our playground, right? There's this world that we live in of life, and what we know about life is that it requires elimination. Everyone take a deep breath right now. Even those of you at home, take a deep breath and hold it. Just hold it. Don't exhale. Don't exhale. Can you not exhale? Can you ever not exhale? See, we breathe in this source of life, and it causes this metabolism in our lives, and then we must exhale. Because life is about change, and everything we bring into our physical manifest body, we change and we shift, and then we must eliminate. And so if we know that in our physical body that we must eliminate, I think we can rest assured that in our consciousness, until we attain enlightenment, maybe there are some things that we need to eliminate. Could that be true? Nod your head. Say yes. See, we know that in the physical form that we eat and we metabolize and then we excrete. We breathe in and we breathe out. We move, we grow, we reproduce, we respond to stimuli, right? And most of us do okay with these physical life processes. But we struggle with the mental and emotional process of elimination. Sometimes. And see, that's where we think that renunciation is just about giving things up. Pulling out that which does not serve. But renunciation goes beyond giving things up. It is about taking up things that are more important in life. Right? Renunciation means that we give up that which is not true, but we are willing. Oh, look, there's another one of our powers. We have this willingness to show up and take up things that are more important in consciousness, right? Because life is consciousness, right? And so we have this sage who is sitting in satsang with his monks and his kings, and the monks got up and ran when there was this fear that little though they had, it would be taken away. And we had this king whose castle was on fire, and he sat there. See, sometimes we judge other people and we say, that person can't be spiritual. But when we are living an active life of renunciation and making consciousness first by choosing God, good, love first in all that we do, we are on the path of enlightenment. Yes, we are on this sacred path to know ourselves as these individual expressions of Christ's love. Right? That's who we are. We know that God is not just some transcendent entity out there somewhere, that God is here, present in and as and through us, all of us. We are the Christ expressing right now. And so just like when you're at home and and you've been cleaning up the house, and suddenly the trash can is filled in the kitchen, right? Has anybody got a full trash can at home? You know, most of us don't just pull that trash bag out and lay it in the floor and then start filling a new trash bag, right? Now, if it's raining outside, that might happen. But for the most part, we take out the trash, right? We clear away that which is holding us in consciousness, holding us back from receiving our good, right? We get to eliminate that which is unclean, that which is impure, that which no longer serves us, right? And see, here's what's important to remember. When you came here, when you were delivered into this physical manifestation, this incredible playground, you were given a garden. You were given a garden. The Garden of Eden from our Hebrew scriptures represents divine consciousness. We have a consciousness available to us. It is our garden, and it is divine in potential, right? And so this spiritual body, this consciousness that we can bring forth, we do bring forth. Not only can we, but we do. We bring forth our ideas, our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings. And so to move forth in this divine awareness, we align these ideas, these thoughts, these beliefs, these feelings with divine ideas, divine thoughts, divine feelings, right? But just like, I know some of you are avid gardeners, and so just like when you go home and you weed your flower garden, or you weed your vegetable garden, we must weed out our consciousness. We must seek out these thoughts and beliefs and ideas that no longer serve us and release them. We eliminate them from our consciousness. We eliminate them from our mind that is connected to divine mind. And it's true, some of them have served us. Do you have a thought that has served you? I mean, I have a few. They don't serve me anymore, though, right? Have you, I got to spend some time with Carol this week, and, we were talking about her grandson. Have any of you ever seen a toddler that grabs a hold of something like, say, a lighter that they shouldn't have in their hands? And have you seen the death grip they hold on to that because they know they're not supposed to have it? See, some of the thoughts and ideas and beliefs and even feelings that we carry were handed to us when we were toddlers, and we hold on to them with a death grip. But we're not required to hold on to some of those. Right? Because see, sometimes we get tethered to something that doesn't serve us. We get tethered to something that does not serve. And when those ideas that we're tethered to are not pure or not in alignment with truth, we get to practice with this power that we have, right? We get to find these thoughts, these ideas, these feelings, and we don't have to put them in the trash, but we get to put them in the compost pile, right? Because these served us once, and they kept us safe, and maybe it's a little bit safer for our ego to think that we're putting it in the compost pile, because in the compost pile, it's going to break down and it's going to create the fertile soil that we need to experience the garden that we are promised, right? See, so some of the ideas that came to me that tethered me for a very long time, I was taught that God was a personality. Anybody familiar with that? God, the personality that might choose to reward you if you do things right, but will certainly choose to punish you if you do things wrong. Now, what I know now about God, because I have eliminated that from my belief system, and I know that God is principle. God is principle for me. And that my free will here in this divine experience helps shape how I seemingly get punished or how I seemingly get rewarded. But in truth, naming things good and bad are separating myself from that Garden of Eden, right? Remember that we eat the fruit of separation, where we believe that we are separate from, and good and bad suddenly exists. And what is true is that things simply are. Cause and effect. We'll talk about that sometime again later. There's some other things that I became aware of in my life as I would dive into unity principle, was that I carried a belief that I had to work hard for my money. Anybody else have that? You have to struggle to make ends meet, and you must work a lot of hours in order to pay your bills. And when I got clear that I had that belief, this was years ago. Well, it was years ago the first time I encountered this in my consciousness, right? Because, some of our thoughts, they send out little tendrils, and we have to keep digging them out, right? And so I when I had that idea, I was in a toxic work environment, and I was really scared about leaving a salaried position, but I left that job. And I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I had to do something. So I left that job. And within 3 days, I had been hired to go into furniture sales. You all know that I've had 100 jobs while I was running away from being a minister. And so I was selling bunk beds, right? I immediately gave myself a $10,000 raise just by moving into total commission sales. And when there was no one in the store, I would play video games. See, I gave up that idea that working had to be hard and difficult and stressful. And so I planted the seeds of a new belief, a new truth, an alignment with the truth that there is abundance. Right? Everything that is not affirming our abundance is a belief in lack, and lack is not true. And so we have to eliminate lack from our consciousness, this belief that there's not going to be enough, that there is not enough, that we don't have what we need. And we must align our consciousness to know that we are in grateful expectancy. We are in grateful expectancy to receive our good. The other thing that I have been challenged with as I have fully stepped into this idea that I am a congregational minister now is that you have to give up money to be spiritual. Anybody else have that idea? You have to give up money to be spiritual. There are lots of friends that I have on some of these social media things that kind of attack churches when churches request money. But mystics have bills to pay too, right? Did you know that? And the truth is we don't have to give up anything to be spiritual, right? We live according to that Christ presence in us. We live according to the sage of our being. And the sage of our being holds in alignment our King, our power of will. And when we use our willingness to stand forth and be spiritual in this world, all of our needs are met. All of our needs are met. And so, to me, there is no error thinking. There is no sin in having money. There is a sin in hoarding money. There is a sin in greed, in not being willing to circulate our resources, our prosperity. And our prosperity is so much more than our financial abundance. Yes, we know this, right? our health, our relationships, all of it is part of our prosperity. And when we close down and don't be an open channel for all of that because we're afraid there's not enough, we're not living according to the instructions of our Christ, our sage. Yes? So this week we started our study of the 4 spiritual laws of prosperity. Had wonderful discussions. You are welcome to join this week if you want to get started with us. And I challenged everyone this week to participate in this uncovering process of these 4 spiritual laws, to start and to do an empirical trial in your own life. Remember empirical trials when you were in high school science? Remember that? Where you try and figure something out, and so you're going to test your theory. I've invited everyone to test the theory that Edwene Gaines presents in her book, and she has these 4 spiritual laws. And the first one, here's another one of these thoughts that's coming up in my consciousness that I have to eliminate. When I was growing up, I was told that polite and good people do not talk about certain things in public, right? We don't talk about our religion. We don't talk about our paychecks. We don't talk about politics. We just don't talk about money in general, right? And here I am, I'm going to talk about tithing today. And that's okay. See, because I'm inviting you into an empirical trial of Edwene Gaines' teaching and see if it works for you. See, Edwene Gaines says that the spiritual law is that we give 10% of all that we receive to the person, place, or institution where we are spiritually fed. Right? Now, that doesn't mean that you give 10% of what you get to Unity, here at Crystal Coast Unity, but you do give 10% to the person, place, or institution where you are spiritually fed. Right? And she's clear that this does not include your charitable giving. So if there are 7 nonprofits that you are fond of and you want to give them money, if they're not feeding you spiritually, that's not part of your tithe. And you get to decide. I don't know what feeds you spiritually, but I know that when we nourish ourselves with spiritual food, we are free. Right? We just sang about that. Dedrick just wrote that incredible song. When we feed ourselves with spiritual food, we are free. And friends, I want everyone here to be free. I want everyone here in the Atlantic Beach sanctuary to be free. If you're in our Zoom sanctuary, I want you to be free. If you're watching live on Facebook, I want you to be free. I want you to have spiritual nourishment. And if you don't have that in your life right now, you owe it to yourself to find a place where you receive it. That's how important it is, because we did not come here just to be these physical entities. We have come forth to expand our consciousness to know I am that I am has sent me here. Now. Yes? So I want to invite you to do this empirical trial. See what changes in your life if you pay attention to all of the prosperity of your life. If you are blessed with rich relationships, see how you can increase those relationships by being more giving. If you are being very fortunate financially, see how that financial resource blossoms if you share your resources. If you are experiencing physical health, then invest more in your physical health and see how your physical health increases. Because this is spiritual law. Right? And this is the concrete way to figure this out. Does this really work? Can you explore how your thoughts, your beliefs, and your feelings and your actions are congruent with what you believe or incongruent with what you believe? This is the way you find this out. And you can say, prove me. Yes? Say that with me. Prove me. Prove me now. So, my further invitation this week is for you to take notice of what you have allowed to grow in your consciousness. Take notice of what you are allowing to grow in the garden of your consciousness. Eliminate what no longer serves you, right? Eliminate what no longer serves you. Move it like these leaves in this image. These are going to go to the compost pile. So we move them to the compost pile. And will it be easy? It depends on how often you've done it. Right? With practice, it becomes easier so that it stops being elimination and it becomes release. It becomes letting go. Right? It is elimination until it is our natural reflex to relax and let go. And so I want to leave you all this morning with this affirmation, and I'll email this out this week along with some more stuff that you might want to try, but this is what I am working with this week. I am now releasing every thought, belief, and feeling that's stopping me from creating the life I know I deserve and the love and abundance I am worthy to receive. I am now releasing every thought, belief, and feeling that's stopping me from creating the life I know I deserve and the love and abundance I am worthy to receive. And so it is. Dedry, can I get you to move us into a time where we might explore some silence?
I now let go. There's nothing to fear. I now let go. There's nothing to fear. I now let go. There's nothing to fear. I now let go. I now let go. There's nothing to fear. I realize there's only one power. I realize there is only one power. I realize there is only one power. I realize there's only one power.
There is only one power. If it's comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes. Become aware of your breath. Relax your shoulders and your jaw. And feel the seat supporting you. Feel the earth beneath you supporting you. There is only one power and one presence. I am. And in this moment, we shift our awareness to our heart center. We shift our awareness to this place where love is who we are. As we shift our awareness, we open ourselves to divine wisdom. And we take note when thoughts and beliefs and feelings that are other than love and abundance and joy show up. And then we shift back to love, the truth of who we are. And so now for a moment, sit here and be with this love, as this love, in this love. Sit here knowing that I am. I am, and all is well in the silence. I am now releasing every thought, belief, and feeling that's stopping me from creating the life I know I deserve and the love and abundance I am worthy to receive. I am now releasing every thought, belief, and feeling that's stopping me from creating the life I know I deserve and the love and abundance I am worthy to receive. I am, and all is well. And so now, as Dedri brings us back, I invite you to become present to this place and this time where we are all together in spirit. As you're ready. Dedri?
I realize I'm one with the one. I realize I'm one with the one. I realize